All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we're going to talk about Jaron Boots Ennis and his next fight on the Gervonta Tank Davis's undercard. At least that's what they were saying. Man, let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we are going to be in the 147-pound division, talking about one of the best fighters in boxing, Jaron Boots Ennis, out of the great city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, out of Bosie Ennis's gym, the #1 rated welterweight by the IBF, in the top the top 4 of every other sanctioning body, and in the top 3 of both the WBA and the WBO. Only one that he's outside of that out of the top 3 is the WBC, I do believe, who has Keith Thurman when Keith Thurman passed him up. Now, there was rumors out there that about what Jaron Ennis would be doing next, and people were saying that he would be fighting on the undercard for the Gervonta Davis fight that is coming up on January 7th. That will be the subject matter of this video, but it does not seem like it. And I will tell you why that is. But before I get into the subject matter of the video, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we have very, very good boxing conversations that go on the channel, in the live streams and in the comment section. I'm in the comment section pretty much every day. So if you leave a comment, there's a good chance that I will respond to it. Don't always do it there, but if you come by the live streams, we can chop it up at 8 o'clock in the morning, pretty much every day of the week, where we talk about everything going on in boxing, unlike these videos, which are for specific topics, to deliver information and to chop it up and get your opinion about stuff in the comment section. If you are a longtime subscriber and supporter, you know the deal. Thank you so much to Q Lee. Thank you so much to Quace. Thank you so much for your continued support in the super chats and the cash apps, in the live streams. They really do mean a lot. And thank you to everybody that supports the channel through the super thanks in the videos like this, which you can see with the heart and the $sign below. So let's get to the bad news, man. It doesn't look like, or at least signs are pointing away from, Jaron Ennis being on the undercard for Gervonta Tank Davis. As you guys know, Gervonta Davis's fight has been announced for Hector Garcia on January 7th. Hector Garcia is the current WBA super champion at 130 pounds, a belt that Gervonta Davis did hold before he moved up. Actually, I think he's held it several times. I think he won it the first time while he was at 130 pounds. Then he won it the second time when he fought at the weight class for the Leo Santa Cruz fight. Now, after he fought Santa Cruz and not Santa Cruz, excuse me, Isaac Cruz and Rolly Romero, he's now again fighting the champion who has that belt, and Hector Gomez, the Dominican fighter, undefeated Dominican fighter, Olympian that beat Chris Colbert and Gutierrez. Really, really great back-to-back fights for him. A guy that I think is in the running for Fighter of the Year. They're going to be fighting on January 7th in Washington, D.C., and it was rumored that Jaron Ennis, would be on that card with him. However, from a recent tweet that was let out by Jaron Ennis, it appears as if that may not be the case, because he tweeted, and you can see this tweet in the thumbnail. He says, "Sorry for the delay on dropping the fight date, but I will be dropping it soon." He did that maybe 6 days ago about dropping the fight date. So if he was on that card, more than likely they would have already dropped that fight date for that. It seems as if they may be trying to aim him at, having maybe on Showtime, he's going to have his own card. But, if it's going to be in the January time frame, it's not going to be in December, because we're already in December. right? So if he is, it's going to be in January, it's either going to be on that card, and I do believe that there's a January 28th card with Charlo, so there may be a chance that he'll be on the undercard with Charlo and Tim Tszyu. He was on the undercard for Charlo against Brian Castano last year, so they may match them up in that, on that card as well. I would prefer to see him on the Gervonta Davis undercard because, hey man, that right there is a really big platform for him to fight, and honestly would make that pay-per-view card really, really worth it for me. If you're not familiar with Jaron Ennis, man, get familiar real soon because this dude could very well be the future of boxing. A lot of people say, well, I think for certain he's a top 3 guy in the welterweight division. I don't think anybody is going to argue that he's not top 3 in the welterweight division. Some people will say, well, he's too early on in his career to say that he's better than Errol Spence Jr. or he's better than Terrence Crawford. But for me, the way that I look at him, man, I think he's ready for either one of those guys right now. And I would put him ahead of Keith Thurman, and I would put him ahead of Virgil Ortiz, who I think is probably the number 4 guy in that division. And then maybe, but we'll see whether Virgil Ortiz is what he's about after he fights Stanionis, which is another fight card that should be being announced pretty soon. I wonder if that's going to go to purse bid or not. And that might actually more than likely that's going to be a DAZN fight, because and I just hope for certain that they do not try to make that fight on PBC, because if they do, Virgil Ortiz is probably going to pull out of the fight. And then we won't get to see the fight that I think Jaron Ennis is going to wind up getting first, which is a shot for that WBO title that Terrence Crawford has, where Terrence Crawford is either going to have to fight him, fight Errol Spence Jr. or drop the belt. But regardless, definitely a guy that you want to keep your eye on, somebody that is an exceptionally talented fighter. He pretty much brings, I think he brings a lot to the table that both Errol Spence Jr. and Terrence Crawford bring. Terrence Crawford brings, his reputation for switching stances, being able to fight in either position very, very well, being a long, rangy fighter with one-punch knockout power. I think Jaron Ennis has all of that. And then a little bit more, because he also brings what Errol Spence Jr., a lot of what Errol brings to the table, which is consistent pressure, high volume, right? A lot of size to the division, being as big as he is, because Jaron is definitely a big guy in that division. But, the question about when he's going to fight and who he's going to fight next is still up in the air, without a doubt. I would bet, if I was a betting man, which I'm really not, I would say it's either going to be on the card for Tank, even though that is coming up pretty quick. That's like only 4 weeks away or 5 weeks away for him not to be announced. But then again, the undercard isn't coming out for that fight either. But it seems to me if he fights in January on the undercard of Charlo, that may very be consistent with what, again, what he did last year. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think on the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.